So I just finished a solo hike here in the gorgeous North Wales, and yeah, I thought I'd sit down, have something to eat, and just share my thoughts. I really wish I had like my journal with me or something so I could write down my thoughts, but instead I'm just going to say it verbatim and hope it makes sense. Tomorrow is my birthday. Excuse me. Okay, this crow is here. Better eat quick. There is a crow like right above me, but we're gonna keep going and hope it just doesn't attack. Tomorrow is my birthday. I had a lot of reflections about how this year was probably the most impactful year and the year I've grown the most in. And I wanted to share my reflections on that and kind of some thoughts, maybe some tips for others. So my 33rd year of life was pretty impactful, like I said, and it's the year I think that I've grown the most in. I feel a little bit sadness getting to this point at this age. I really wish I got to this point earlier. Maybe during my 20s. I think that would have prevented a lot of hard times, a lot of tough situations. But at the same time, I am still quite young, and I'm really glad that I've gotten to this point now because I've still got the rest of my life ahead of me. My 20s were a rough ride, really. They were tough. Filled with a lot of stress, anxiety. I experienced war during the beginning of it, and that led to PTSD, which I dealt with for a few years, and then more anxiety, more panic attacks, and then very low, crippling self-esteem, maybe around 26, 27. And then I felt a huge amount of pressure, societal pressure, cultural pressures, and also the need to fit in. And I think all of that stemmed from very low self-esteem. That led me to feeling like I needed to get married because I heard a few comments, and I felt the crippling weight of societal expectations on women at their late 20s. And so I got married to someone I shouldn't have gotten married to, and then that was a really horrible situation that led to divorce. So at 31 I was back home, and yeah, I think I was at a stage where I was nearing a breakdown in my childhood room, just kind of rocking back and forth, like nearing a breakdown, nearing a panic attack. And at that point I hadn't had a panic attack for I think 4 or 5 years, and I promised myself that I wouldn't have a panic attack again. So when I realized the signs of panic attack, I was just like, okay, like, we're not going to let this happen. Something has to change. And so I think the first people I confided in were my parents, who were, I think, the only people who fully accepted me, and the only people who fully loved me unconditionally. And I'm not going to get emotional. But they were the only people who made me feel safe and made me feel loved. And I think I needed that a lot at that time. I was 31, and despite me achieving a lot, I steadily progressed in my career. I climbed the career ladder. I had gotten married or whatever.
My parents were the ones supporting me. They supported me during my divorce. Actually, I was the one who said, I can't deal with this. Can you please help me? Because I'm just not in the right mental state for it. And yeah, I was back home and I needed their help and their love. And I think that helped me a lot to heal. And so I think the last 2 years have been a great journey of healing. But this year, my 33rd year of life has been, I think, the one with the most change and the most self-development. And I wanted to kind of just talk about how that happened and maybe give some advice to anybody who is going through a really difficult time and how you can get out of that and how you can see the positives and actually not only that but also develop yourself and become a way better person. Wearing my jacket because I got a little bit chilly. Things that I kind of done to help me move on and grow and go on this journey of self-forgiveness, because I think I was very, very harsh on myself. There was a lot of times where I said to myself, how could you be so stupid? How could you not have seen the signs? How could you have gotten yourself into this situation? How could you have done X or Y? Like, why were you in this situation? It was completely avoidable. And there was a lot of self-blame, and that led me to feeling very, very anxious again. And I hate feeling anxious. Like, anxiety is something that I dealt with for a long, long time, and I think I got into a point where I steadied it and managed it towards my late 20s, and then here I was again at 31, 32, very anxious, and not even that, like, towards a breakdown. And like I said, there was a lot of self-blame, and that at times led to self-hatred. I felt very, very negative thoughts about myself, and I was not in a good place. The first thing I done, the primary and the main thing I done was, like I said, confided in my parents, the two people in my life who unconditionally love me, support me, and are there for me. So the main thing you should do is confide in someone, and a professional as well to help. The second thing was to strengthen my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just to realise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't give you a burden that you can't cope with. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها لا ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you challenges in life, gives you choices. We have free will, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you X amount of choice in front of you. The choice to do something, the choice to not do something. You have that will, that ownership over your life to make that choice, but you should always confide in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still has everything written out for you. So even if you make a choice, that is your choice. You go through difficulty, but that was still written for you. And that was a difficulty that was meant for you, so you can grow, so you can adapt, so you can learn more about yourself. I genuinely think that if I hadn't been through what I've been through, I wouldn't be in this state of self-love that I'm in now. Like, I feel very warm towards myself at the moment. I feel a lot of kindness, a lot of compassion, and it's a shame that I had to go through a lot of difficulty to get here, but I truly think that if I hadn't have gone through that, I wouldn't be here now. Have you guys tried these little caramelized ginger? They're like sweet and spicy, but I like them. So yeah, have that realization that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala
gives you difficulties and challenges to make you a better person, to strengthen you, to put you through trials and difficulties, but you can handle it. It's nothing outside of what you can't handle, but it's there to test you primarily, whether you make the right decisions or not. Secondly, to help you grow as an individual. So that's the first part of kind of your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to have that realization, but also becoming closer to Allah in ibadah, in your salah, in your fast, in your supplications to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is truly the thing that has brought me the most calmness and the most kind of peace. And at a time where I felt like my heart was becoming very hardened, I was scared that I'll go to a point where I won't be able to return. Like, I'll go to a point of no return. My heart will be really hard, and I'll have this completely negative, self-detrimental outlook towards the world. Like, everybody's horrible, I hate everyone, I can't trust anyone, like, what's the point of it all? Like, I was scared that I'll reach that point where I felt like I was going towards. It was a very, very negative and dark place with a very negative outlook. And so I done more prayers, done more dua. I became closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I genuinely think that has helped bring a lot of peace in my life and has made my heart feel softer. Like, I think I'm back to me. Outside of that, I think a lot of self-compassion has helped. I've tried really hard to shift my outlook from a very negative outlook to a very positive one. So instead of blaming myself for a situation that I was in, say, for example, being in a relationship that was abusive, I blamed myself for that. I said, how could I have put myself in that situation? I shifted my outlook to realize that, okay, this was like a harmful situation for me. The person that I was with was not stable, and I am very, very lucky to now be out of that situation. I'm very lucky to have parents and have people around me who look out for me and who made me realize that I wasn't in a good situation, because I don't think I realized that I was in a bad situation. You become kind of habituated to it, or you start to think that the environment you're in or whatever issue that you have is the norm. And sometimes you do need others around you to be like, hey, listen, like, this isn't good, like, this isn't right, this isn't normal, you know, you need to look out for yourself. But sometimes we as humans don't look out for ourselves. So to have people around me that kind of pulled me out of a bad situation, ensured that I was safe, I felt really lucky. I feel really lucky to have that. And then to have that kind of awareness after it, to be like, oh crap, like, that was bad. And awareness for other things as well. Like, towards the end of my 20s, I became a shell of myself, and I tried to please others. I was very much a people pleaser, which stemmed from a lack of self-esteem. So to kind of go back those years and try and think about why that was, and realize that I didn't have a lot of self-esteem, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence, and kind of go back through the years and think about why that was, and now be in a position where I can actively change that. Someone was behind me then. These crows are creeping me out. Why are there so many? There's literally, the crow is right there. It's right there.
Oh, yeah. So to realize that basically I went through a tough time and I went through a difficult time, but I'm now safe, firstly, and most importantly, because like safety is the most basic human right that you can have, other than like food, water, shelter, safety next. So to realize that I had those things and I was at a point where I didn't have those things, that made me feel very lucky that I had the bare minimum that any human should have, which is, a roof over the head, clean water, food, and safety, And then on top of that, I had people in my life who love me unconditionally and who cared about me, and there was love and there was compassion. So I shifted my negative outlook to a kind of more positive and self-accepting outlook. Like, yes, you went through a whole bunch of crap which nobody should go through, but look where you are now. Like, you're safe and you're okay, and you've got people looking after you and looking out for you. Now what can you do to go forward? So when I got to that point, I was like, okay, I need to work on my mental health. I need to find a way to manage the stress and anxiety that I was in, but also figure out what I'm doing with my life and where I want to be. And then after that, figure out like how I'm going to improve my confidence, because that was at an all-time low, and I was not going to let a man or anything or anyone like shatter my self-confidence. I really wanted to have that as something that comes from within, like something that I have developed and I have worked on. So, like I said, the first step was like dealing with my mental health, managing my anxiety, and that led me to where I am now, out in nature. The first thing I did, I think I was at like on the verge of a panic attack. I just went on a walk, and that started just locally in my local parks, and then expanded that to the hills. So I went to the Peak District, the Yorkshire Dales, and then eventually the mountains. So Wales here, Lake District, Scotland, like some gorgeous mountains. Eventually I went abroad and done some mountains abroad as well. So actively being outside, being in nature, listening to all these sounds, nature sounds, that has helped me massively to regulate my nervous system. It's helped me massively to feel calmer and to kind of put a plan in place, like how am I actively going to progress. Being away from the noise of the city, just being here listening to all these sounds, the wind, the trees, the birds, everything, and just kind of being still and quiet, as somebody who was very, very overwhelmed and very, very anxious, it helped massively and is continuing to help me massively. I can't see my life without actively being in nature. It's something that I crave, it's something that I need, and it's something that has helped me a lot. So it's just finding that avenue to be still, be quiet, to self-reflect, and to actively work on myself. That has been huge for me, and it's helped me massively. So for you, it doesn't have to be nature. Obviously, I recommend it. I think it's great to be outside, get that fresh air. But not everyone has access to nature. Not everyone can go out to the mountains, the hills. So find that something that helps you be still, whatever it is. Something that allows you to get away from everything. The noise of the city, the stress of your work, the stress of the kids, whatever it is that
is making you feel overwhelmed, find something that is just for you, not for the people around you, something for you so you can be still, so you can be calm, so you can self-reflect. Some things that I know people do, like painting and arts and crafts and all these things. So like a creative avenue, something to do with nature, writing, so creative writing, reading, editing, like video editing, anything that helps you be creative and helps you just unwind, that is massively helpful. As always, like confide in the people around you that love you, that support you. For me, that was very difficult. I'm not someone that finds it easy to communicate how I feel, because sometimes I struggle with actually knowing how I feel. But it's trying my best, and that is what has helped. Even if I don't quite know the words, or even if the words don't come out, it's just trying to be open to one or two people around me that I know care about me and that I know want to actively help me. That has made a huge difference. And I think over the past few years, that is something that I've developed massively. Honestly, like looking back at my 20s, they weren't good. Like I was someone who was really closed off, somebody who was very sheltered in my own space. I didn't want to let anybody in. And I actually like got this feedback from somebody that is really close to me at one point. I think I was like 28, 29, and that person said to me that like they want to talk to me, they want to be close to me, but they find it hard because they feel like I push them away. And that was kind of the breakthrough moment. I was like, wait, what? Like, is that actually true? There's no way that I do that. And so I'm really grateful to that person for telling me that, even though it was really difficult to hear and I didn't want to hear that, to be honest. And at first I kind of rejected it. I was like, there's no way. But then over time I was like, oh, yeah, like that is true. I'm very closed off and I do push people away. So in the last few years, I have tried to let people in that care about me, because I've made the realization that, oh wait, like, and I was actively avoiding connection. So I let 2-3 people in and I told them like, look, I'm not in a good place and I need your help. One of those people was my own mother, and I said like, for a period of time, please can you look after me, because I'm not able to look after myself. Like even the most basic functions, like just cooking a meal and doing like the basic stuff, I found it really difficult. Like after I got my divorce and moved back home, like those few months were just tough, and I didn't feel like I was in the right space of mind. So I was like, just look after me, please, and then I'll be fine. And like, yeah, I remember like trying to do the dishes and nearly breaking the dishes, and not even able to like load the washing machine and stuff like that. So my poor mum just looked after me. I feel so grateful because I needed that. Like all I actually had to do during that time was to go to work, which in itself was really difficult, by the way. And I'll get back to the work point actually. Yeah, so go to work, do work, and like do basic hygiene, like shower and brush my teeth, and like look after my personal hygiene. I could just about manage that. And so that's what happened. I had to actively let people in, and I had to actively seek help. I don't actually know where I was going with this, but getting to the point of self-compassion, that takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. I also found it helpful to keep a journal and
write down things that I like about myself. And I realize over time that I have like these amazing qualities that I love. The fact that, you know, I'm kind, I'm honest, I want the best for people, that I'm caring, I'm compassionate, that I'm empathetic, even though that can be quite draining at times to feel so much, but it's also like a great quality. So there's so much about myself that I love, and then over time when I realized that, I was like, wow, like you're actually like a good person. You've got all these great qualities. And I also like wrote down the things that I need to work on. You know, the fact that I get anxious, that I get stressed easily, that I'm closed off, that I self-blame a lot, so I blame myself for a lot of things, that I don't trust easily, that all of these things that I had to work on. So to have that on paper was really helpful, just to visualize it and to just kind of write down my thoughts whenever I have thoughts that can be quite difficult to process. Getting it down on paper was really helpful. So that can be positive thoughts like, oh wow, like you went on a walk today and you really enjoyed it, or you done a new gym class today and that was great, or you got your hair done and that was great. Anything, whatever it could be, like praise yourself, and you'd over time start to think more positively about yourself. I am someone who never used to praise myself. Like, even I got 2 degrees, I got a job, I progressed in my job, like all of these things during my 20s. Never praised myself. I never wanted anybody to praise me for some reason. Like, even somebody saying congratulations to me, I was just like, oh, okay. I never like felt like, oh wow, this is somebody praising me for my achievements. And now I'm like, well, actually, like, it's really nice to have that praise from somebody saying congratulations or well done, or, you know, somebody giving you that positive feedback. All of that is really great. And so why don't I do that to myself? Like, so I started to self-praise myself. Like, well done, you went on a jog today, or well done, you finally got yourself to the gym, well done, you had some fruits, some vegetables today. All of these little things I stopped praising myself for, and that started my journey of actually realizing that I've done a lot of great things, and I'm, you know, healing, actively healing. And things that I'm working on, like the, you know, the self-blame, the self-victimization, the feeling very low, anxious, how am I dealing with that? And so, you know, writing down the ways that I've managed that has been so helpful. Like going on walks in nature, talking to people, writing down my praises towards myself, all of these things has been so helpful. Something else like that has massively helped me during this year has been decentering a lot of things that I centered my life around. So I've decentered men. I don't really think about societal expectations around marriage and relationships and having kids and everything else that is placed on women my age, because when I did, it brought me a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and it led me to be with somebody that I probably shouldn't have never been with, and it led me to be in a dark place. It just made my anxiety so much worse. And so I've stopped centering people's expectations of me. I've stopped centering societal, cultural expectations. I've completely decentered men from my life. That's not to say, like, if a great guy comes along, I wouldn't be open to it. I would totally be open to it. But I've stopped thinking about men so much. I've stopped thinking about the need to be with a man. I've stopped even just wanting that that societal norm of what you think like a woman should have at this age of my life. All I kind of prioritize now is my health, my well-being, my relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and my parents. Like, those are pretty much the things that I prioritize now at this time in my life, and I think I will continue to prioritize those things for the rest of my life, unless I have like kids eventually. I think that would definitely be a priority, but for now, at least, those are my priorities. And I've decentered a lot of expectations and the weight of society from my life, and I've also decentered men, and that's been so freeing. Like, I feel so so free from it all. It is a huge weight that women carry, especially women from different backgrounds, different cultures. But for you to just decenter that and just focus on you, your well-being, your health, the people who matter to you. Also focus on kind of doing good in your community, doing good in society, giving back as well. That's been so revolutionary in my life, and I genuinely think that's why this year has been so much better than any other years in my life, because I started it thinking, well, actually, like, why don't I just prioritize a few things in my life, the things that I need to prioritize, and then after that figure out the rest. And it has made me feel less anxious to just have my focus on a few things. It has been really like liberating. I just feel a lot more at ease. I no longer think about like what this auntie thinks of me, what that auntie thinks of me, what that auntie said about me. Like, who cares? Like, genuinely, who cares? I don't anymore. And I do think during my 20s I cared a lot. And the weird thing is, yeah, you go through a difficult period and you think, right, that, wow, when you're going through something really difficult, there'll be loads of people like picking up the phone, checking up on you. The people that you thought cared about you, nope. Nope. So yeah, like, it's a great reality check, actually, going through difficult situations. It makes you realize that, like, the people you thought cared actually don't, and the people you cared about their views, their opinions, it doesn't matter. Like, there's no point spending time on it, because they don't think about you and they don't care about you. There's only very like few people in my life where I know deep down that they care and love me, and so they're the ones that I should be spending my energy on, because it's reciprocated. Like, I love them unconditionally, they love me unconditionally, and I know that deep down. The others, society, that auntie, this auntie, like, who cares, man? Genuinely, who cares? Yeah, decentering people, like societal expectations, men, cultural pressures, has been really freeing, and just having my focus on the few people in my life where I genuinely care about, that has been great. Also getting to the point where you realize, like, nobody can love you the way you love yourself. I am genuinely amazed about how much I can now love myself. This was never possible for me, like 4 or 5 years ago. Like, during my mid-20s, I don't think there was an ounce of self-love or self-compassion. Now there's a lot of that, and obviously with the things that I've talked about and mentioned, that has helped. But a huge thing has been the realization that nobody can love me the way I can love myself. There's no point trying to seek love, happiness from others. It can only be from within myself. So I have to try my best to love myself, and try my best to be compassionate towards myself, try and be kinder to myself, because nobody can do that other than me. And also, I'm the only one who lives with me for the rest of my life. So I have to love myself. And that is a really difficult place to come to. And there's like a wasp on my water bottle. I don't have the manual on how to love yourself. I think it happens over time. I think it happens when you have that realization that you are the only one who can love yourself deeply, and you can't rely on anybody in this world for that love and that happiness. Because no matter how much you love people around you, no matter how much you're certain that they are around you, people can come and go at different times in your life, and you're never guaranteed that people will stay by your side for the rest of your life, right? Like, even if they do, there are things that you can't control. Life, death, illness, so many things that can happen. So, yeah, it's the realization that you're with you for the rest of your life, and you have to make it meaningful. You have to be loving towards yourself. That takes a long time to get there, and doing the certain things like writing down what you love about yourself, trying to be more compassionate to yourself, finding avenues to be reflective, to be calmer, to gain those little bouts of happiness. All of those things help. I also want to say, like, to anybody who's at my age, that this is like, this is genuinely the best I've ever felt. And there's a lot of stigma now towards aging. Like, we see it a lot. We're bombarded with it, actually, especially on social media, where everybody's trying to look young and everybody wants to stay young forever. There's a lot of the stigma about, oh my gosh, like, getting older, it's scary. But no, genuinely, like, 33 was so beautiful, so full of healing, so full of love, so full of self-compassion and reflection. And I'm so honoured to have reached this age, and I'm so thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have allowed me to live through my 33rd year of life. And tomorrow is my birthday, and I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I'll live through my 34th, and there are like a long time, inshallah. And I pray that there'll be more growth. Because despite like how good I feel now, there's still a lot of things that I can work on, like some of the issues that I mentioned earlier. You know, the difficulties that I've been through, they don't fully go away. There are times where I think about them, and there are times where they come up in my memory and I'm like, oh gosh. But I try and kind of see it from a more mature lens. I try and see somebody who was not in a great place, and somebody who maybe took a few wrong turns, and if I can go back, I would hug her, and I would give her a lot of love, just like squeeze her and say, you know, like, it's okay, things are gonna be okay. And so realize whatever difficulty you're going through, the future version of you is loving you now. The future version of you wants to hold you, wants to tell you that it's all okay. Because it is going to be okay, inshallah. There are a few things I haven't mentioned, like the stresses of career and the fact that I'm now on a career break.
I'm gonna talk about that probably in another video. Also, I didn't have like my mic, what's it called? The fluffy thing on the mic. So I think you probably heard a lot of wind and background noise. So inshallah next time, next time the audio hopefully will be a little bit better. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I hope this has helped, and I think I just rambled on. We will see when I look back at what I've said. But yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.